Welcome to If Numbers Could Talk. My name is Keelan. If Numbers Could Talk is a part of the Thinkering group. You can find us over at thinkering.space. You can also find at Thinkering Space the Thinkering Talks podcast, the Exofathom podcast, along with the Plank Talks with Joe. When you get a chance, please check out our merchandise. We have merchandise on our website, thinkering.space, as well as merchandise at teespring.com/thinkering shop. Please visit, grab a t-shirt, grab a mug. We'll appreciate it. And when you do, feel free to let us know that you've decided to become a member of any of our fan clubs. And we'll definitely appreciate everyone who not only decides to become a member of the fan clubs and purchase any merchandise. We appreciate you just for tuning in and viewing, whether you view in regularly to If Numbers Could Talk, the Exofathom podcast, Screen Time Continuum, or newly added Strawberries and Coffee. We're just glad to have you with us. Today's episode of If Numbers Could Talk is going to be very, very current. It is based on events that began today, events that began at 6 p.m. today, which is the NBA Finals, 2021 NBA Finals. Now, the last two NBA Finals, in my opinion, they've been very, I don't know. I guess you could say they've been filled with storied franchises, right? But this year, it looks like not only are we getting two franchises to renew and update what it is that they stand for and what it is that their company or their organization has already accomplished, but it also looks like the ushering in of a new era, in my opinion. Hey, how you doing there, guys? So, oh, look, still can't see me. There we go. I apologize for that. So, it looks like the ushering in of a new era. Let me explain to you what I mean by that. Last year, we had the Lakers and the Miami Heat, two of the more, again, storied franchises, not necessarily just because of championships, but storied franchises because they are noted, they are talked about, they are even connected in ways to where some of the more notable names of the Lakers went over and became front office guys and presidents and coaches for the Miami Heat. And some of the guys who played over there ended up being traded over here and won some rings. So there's been a few things that's happened between the Lakers and the Heat's franchise. However, the Suns and the Bucks are two NBA finalist teams, the two teams that will be facing off against each other, one from the East and one from the West. They are our new two teams that make it one will be the champion and one will be the runner-up. But let's start with talking about the team that everybody kind of favors. Now, in my opinion, I think the numbers really favor the Phoenix Suns, sans the fact that Giannis Antetokounmpo was questionable and doubtful until the 30 minutes, I think, before the game, and then he was listed as eligible, and he is on the floor playing at this very moment. I think Phoenix was the favorites leading in. Phoenix is still my favorite to win it. However, Milwaukee with Giannis has to be the favorite. Like, I can't even think of anyone on Phoenix that's really going to be able to slow him down. But then again, it's Giannis. Who in the league can really slow him down? I mean, that's a great question that we can cover in another episode. But let's talk about the Milwaukee Bucks and the history that is their NBA Finals appearances or lack thereof. Let me explain. The Milwaukee Bucks the last conference championship they won was in 1974. In 1974, the Bulls, the Bucks, and the Pistons were all members of the Western Conference. They were not Eastern Conference teams yet. In 1974, the Bulls, the Bucks, and the Pistons were all members of the Western Conference. And the last time that the Milwaukee Bucks won the conference championship was 1974. The Milwaukee team had, as you know, just the top 5 players listed on that team. A 35-year-old Oscar Robertson, who averaged in that series 16 and 10, 10 assists. A 26-year-old Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who averaged in that series 34 points and 19 rebounds. Bob Dandridge, who averaged 20 points, along with John McLaughlin and Cornell Walker. Now, the Bucks went on to sweep the Chicago Bulls that year. On the Chicago Bulls team, you had the Chet the Jet Walker, who averaged 19 points and 5 rebounds. Really good guy. Norm Van Leer, who averaged 17 points and 7 assists. Bob Wise, Rick Adelman, along with Clifford Ray, who averaged 14 points and 11 rebounds, and also Bob Love, who averaged 21 points and 6 rebounds. Those were the teams that faced off for the Western Conference Championship in 1974. It was the Bucks and the Bulls. Now, of course, the Bucks won that, and they went on to play against the Boston Celtics in the NBA Finals. And in those NBA Finals, they went a total of 7 games. 7 games. Now, in those 7 games, Kareem averaged 32 points with 12 rebounds and 5 assists. Bob Dandridge averaged 17 points and 6 rebounds. And Oscar Robertson, the Big O, averaged 12 points and 8 assists. Now, they lost in Game 7, and they lost to the Finals MVP, John Havlicek, also known as Hondo. He averaged 26 points with, whoa, I have to pick that up to make sure. I thought I saw for a moment 71 rebounds. He averaged 26 points, 11 rebounds, 5 assists, and 2 steals for Hondo. He was 33 at the time. A 25-year-old Dave Cowens, who averaged 23 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 assists. JoJo White, who averaged 17 points and 7 assists. Don Nelson and a 23-year-old Paul Westphal are the players who played for some of the top players that played for the Boston Celtics that year and went on to win the championship versus the Milwaukee Bucks in 1974 when they won the Western Conference Championship. However, they lost the NBA Finals for the NBA Championship. The Milwaukee Bucks' last championship as a team, not the last time they went to the finals, but the last time they won the finals, was in 1971 when they played the Baltimore Bullets. So the Baltimore Bullets versus the Milwaukee Bucks. It was a clean sweep, 4-0. The Bucks swept the Bullets, and the Bullets had at the time Jack Marin, who averaged 18 points and 5 rebounds. Earl the Pearl Monroe, who averaged 16 points and 4 assists. Fred Carter, who averaged 15 points and 3 rebounds. And Wes Unseld, who averaged at the time 15 points and 19 rebounds. Now, unfortunately for that type of output for Wes Unseld, the Bullets lost. They were clean swept again, 4-0 by the MVP of the finals of 1971, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who averaged 27 points and 19 rebounds. The Big O, Oscar Robertson, who averaged 24 points, 5 rebounds, and 10 assists. Bob Dandridge, who averaged 20 and 10, 20 points and 10 rebounds in that finals. John McLaughlin, who averaged 11 points and 3 assists in those finals. And along with Greg Smith, who averaged 10 points and 8 rebounds in the 1971 NBA championship to clean sweep over the Baltimore Bullets. Not the Washington Bullets, not the Washington Wizards. At the time, they were called the Baltimore Bullets. Now, that is what we have as far as a history, a backing of the last time the Milwaukee Bucks were in the finals and the last time they won a championship. Next, we get on to the Phoenix Suns. Now, when was the last time the Phoenix Suns was in the NBA Finals and won the conference finals as well? Now, I'll start with this. The Phoenix Suns have never won an NBA Finals. They have never won. They have been in the NBA Finals a total of 3 times if you include this year, 2 times before this, but they have never won a championship as an organization. The Phoenix Suns' last conference championship was in 1993 when the Phoenix Suns faced off against the Seattle Supersonics. That was a 7-game series, for the Western Conference Finals. And the Phoenix Suns had on that team Charles Barkley, who at the time was 29 years old. He averaged 26 points and 14 rebounds. Dan Marley, who averaged 17 points, 7 rebounds, and 5 assists. A 26-year-old Kevin Johnson, who averaged 16 points and 7 assists, along with Tom Chambers, Cedric Ceballos, and Danny Ainge. They took the Seattle Supersonics to a 7-game series and came out on top versus a 23-year-old Sean Kemp, who averaged 20 points, 9 rebounds, and 3 assists. Ricky Pierce, who averaged 17 points and 3 rebounds. Sam Perkins, who averaged 15 points and 5 rebounds. With a 24-year-old Gary Payton, who averaged 12 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, and 1.6 steals in that series. Derek McKee, who averaged 12 points, 5 rebounds, and 4 assists, along with Nate McMillan, who averaged 5 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists, and 2 steals in every game of that 7-game series for Nate McMillan. Now, again, the Seattle Supersonics did not win. The Phoenix Suns went on after a 7-game series against the Seattle Supersonics to face off against the 1993 Chicago Bulls. Now, in that series, the Phoenix Suns, Charles Barkley had 27 points, 13 rebounds, and 5 assists on average. Kevin Johnson had 17 points and 7 assists. Dan Marley had 17 points and 8 rebounds, while Richard Dumas had 16 points and 4 rebounds as well. However, the Phoenix Suns did not win the NBA Finals of 1993. Those who already know. But if you don't, allow me to let you know. The Finals MVP for 1993 was one Michael Jordan. 29 years old, Michael Jordan averaged 41 points, 9 rebounds, and 6 assists. 6 assists versus the Charles Barkley Phoenix Suns. Along with Michael Jordan was a 27-year-old Scottie Pippen, who averaged 21 points, 9 rebounds, 8 assists, and 2 steals for every game of the 6-game series. B.J. Armstrong, who averaged 14 points, 2 rebounds, and 5 assists, along with Horace Grant, who averaged 11 points, 10 rebounds, 1.5 steals, and 1.5 blocks for every single game for Horace Grant in the 1993 NBA Finals. That is where the Phoenix Suns were left off. They did not win that year. That was the last time, 1993, the Phoenix Suns have been to the NBA Finals until this year, 2021, when Chris Paul, Devin Booker, and DeAndre Ayton led their team to the NBA Finals to face off versus Giannis Antetokounmpo, Drew Holiday, and Chris Middleton. Yes, I tried very, very hard to pronounce Giannis's name correctly. But that is where we stand today. 2021 NBA Finals, Phoenix Suns versus the Milwaukee Bucks. The Phoenix Suns are coached by Monty Williams and his coaching staff, while the Milwaukee Bucks are coached by Mike Budenholzer, and his staff. During the regular season, the Phoenix Suns averaged 115.3 points a game with 42.9 rebounds, 26.9 assists, 7.2 steals, 4.3 blocks, 12.5 turnovers in every game for the Phoenix Suns, shooting 49% from the field, 37.8% from the three-point line, and 83.4% from the free throw line for the Phoenix Suns in the 2021 season. The Milwaukee Bucks for this season had a total of, averaged a total of 120.1 points, 48.1 rebounds, 25.5 assists, 8.1 steals, 4.6 blocks, and 13.8 turnovers, along with 48.7% from the field, 38.9% from the three-point line, and 76% from the free throw line for the Milwaukee Bucks in 2021. Now, in the playoffs, I can't necessarily tell you if or if not these are the same stats. And here is the reason. It's going to be very difficult, or it will be, it has been from my research, not as easy to gauge what these teams are going to do against each other by looking at what they've done against the other teams they've played to get here. There's going to be a change in strategy. There's not going to be the exact same style of play every single night. I can guarantee you that because this is the NBA Finals. However, what I can tell you is what these players averaged against the other team this year. They had 2 appearances versus each other, the Milwaukee Bucks and the Phoenix Suns. In those 2 appearances, Devin Booker averaged 27 points and 5 assists. Chris Paul averaged 25 points, 5 rebounds, and 10 assists. DeAndre Ayton averaged 19 points and 10 assists, along with Mikal Bridges and Jay Crowder making significant contributions to their team. For the Milwaukee Bucks, Giannis averaged 40 points and 9 rebounds versus the Phoenix Suns in their 2 appearances versus one another. Jrue Holiday averaged 25 points and 8 assists versus the Phoenix Suns in their 2 appearances this year, while Chris Middleton averaged 22 points and 8 assists as well versus the Phoenix Suns this year, along with PJ Tucker and Brook Lopez, who also made very significant contributions. Now, the significant contributions do not mean that the other players on the team did not contribute or they weren't significant. However, it kind of helps me round out also the starting 5 for these 2 teams by adding those 2 players. The only player on both teams that is ruled out for the NBA Finals so far at this very moment, again, Giannis was and is currently playing. He was cleared right before the game. However, Dante DiVincenzo, he is the only player that has been ruled out, not questionable, not day-to-day, but currently is listed as out for the NBA Finals. Other than that, both of these teams are healthy. They are at full force, and it should be an enjoyable NBA Finals. That's all I have for you guys at this very moment. Of course, somewhere between the next week or 2, or maybe even 4 weeks, depending on if we go 7 games, there will be a follow-up to this. There will definitely be some cleanup to how they went about the finals, how we got here, the injuries that got certain teams through, and the injuries that made certain teams go home. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. This has been the recap of the last time the Phoenix Suns and the Milwaukee Bucks not just were in the playoffs, but were in the finals. Milwaukee is in the finals again for the first time since 1974. Their last ring was 1971. And the Phoenix Suns are in the finals, for the first time since 1993. And they have never won an NBA championship down in Phoenix. It should be a very interesting NBA Finals. And in my opinion, it could just be the ushering in of a new era. I appreciate you for tuning in with me. I appreciate you for hanging out. If you would like, please hit the subscribe button if you're on YouTube. Go ahead and hit that bell so you know when we go live and when we drop new content. If you're on Facebook, feel free to like the page, follow the page, like the video, share the video, make sure your friends see it, see if anyone you know is interested in hearing this type of information. As well as, of course, if you have any comments, anything you want to say, just anything you'd like to add for us, by all means, jump in our comment section, send us an email over at ifnumberscouldtalk@gmail.com. I really appreciate you guys. I see here we have a few comments in our comment section, and they come from Jex Dehan. So he believes that the Bucks are going to take it in 5. In his 2 words, why? Drew Holiday. Now, this is someone that we actually have had basketball discussions in the past. I actually like that he thinks Drew Holiday is going to be the deciding factor for the Milwaukee Bucks. I think that is actually very cool because I share a very similar uh, understanding of how that's going to play out if Drew is able to slow Chris or stop Chris. I'm not exactly sure if Chris Middleton is going to end up guarding Devin Booker, but I am almost sure Drew Holiday is going to be on Chris Paul this entire series. And if Drew Holiday does make a big impact against Chris Paul, I totally agree with Jex that, hey, listen, Chris Paul, as crazy as he is as an offensive player, Drew Holiday is that crazy as a defensive player. So that is going to be an excellent matchup. I do agree with him on that. However, he does believe that I love Giannis, and I think Giannis is a good player. However, I also believe that if he gets too many touches, the team does fall to the wayside. That is one thing he and I does disagree on. And this is why I encourage you guys to lend comments, send something over to ifnumberscouldstalk@gmail.com if you have any comments or anything you want to add. Continue to add to the comment section because we all have similar opinions and a difference of opinions, and that is what makes sports entertaining. That is what makes all of us tune in consistently and makes me do this show. So I appreciate you, Jex, for tuning in this evening. And anyone else who is tuning in, listening to the playbacks, please continue to join us on all of our other shows. The Exo Fathom is hosted by Nick, Ayla, and Mike. It comes on Mondays and Fridays at 8 p.m. We also have Screen Time Continuum, which comes on Wednesdays and Sundays at 8 p.m. as well. That is hosted by myself, Nick, and Dijon. Dijon also has his Twitch channel up. He goes live Tuesdays and Thursdays on Facebook. Saturday, he's on YouTube. I'm sorry, Tuesdays and Thursdays on Twitch. And on Saturdays, he is on YouTube. That is Strawberries and Coffee. I want to say he's currently streaming The Conquer Reloaded, which they have on Xbox. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. If you're on Spotify or any of the audio platforms, feel free to, jump on over to YouTube and Facebook if you would like to see some visuals. If not, we definitely appreciate you for following and listening on all audio platforms. Continue to let us know how we're doing and if you enjoy the content. If you don't, for those who are interested in watching the NBA playoffs, keep tuning in with me over the next week or so, or excuse me, the rest of the playoffs, because when that ends, I will definitely follow up as to the end of the NBA playoffs and what is currently happening. Because whether you believe it or not, I am very aware of what's happening in the game as I'm speaking to you at this moment. I appreciate you guys. Have a great one. We'll see you next week. You know how you know I do it live? Sometimes it takes me a while to clock out. Thanks a lot, guys.